Hey, what's up? I've always been an open source sort of person. I believe in information. I've actually been called for probably 15 years now the god of books because I've got maybe 13 terabytes of books, 99% of which are in PDF format. I believe in information. Nobody really wants to confide any secrets in me because I'll tell everybody. A lot of the things that make the world sick and delusional is the lack of information, or those that compartmentalize information and keep it secret. Here's a couple stories that should frighten you, and they're 100% true. I used to be a skydiving lunatic. I've got thousands of skydives underneath my belt. Yeah, the fat guy used to be really skinny. I've got thousands of skydives. Anyway, I lived in Daytona Beach when I was going to a photography school. And there's a little town west of Daytona Beach. I won't name it, and I don't want to name the place, but there's two huge places there that produce recreational skydiving equipment. Now, the interesting thing about skydiving is if your crap don't work, you're gonna die. I mean, there's no, you're not gonna get hurt, you're gonna die! So, you would think that the standards of manufacture of such said equipment that it either works or you die would be very high, but in fact they're not. I worked for this company for a little while. I won't name the name of the company or the town, but you could probably guess. And I worked in the back far left corner of the warehouse. There's a huge machine that actually stamps out plastic templates that are inserted into the containers. Now, in skydiving, that which holds your main parachute and your reserve, i.e. the whole harness, that's your container. It contains your parachute. Of course, it's also part of the entire rig harness that you put on. And that container has flaps, and inside those flaps are plastic inserts. Now, if those flaps don't open up properly, then you got a malfunction, and that means you got an issue. And the standards for the plastic inserts that go inside the fabric container, the containers are fabric and they have industrial nylon webbing, of course, so those don't rip apart, nor do the seams. Those are sewed really well. But I actually was instructed to go by eyeball on those templates that were that were going to be inserted into the container when the women sewed them up. So I was sitting there with a big foot machine and actually cutting out these plastic templates for the various flap inserts for the container for your skydiving rig. And another person I knew, you're going to love this. Hold on. This gets really interesting. You'll really love this. Totally true, by the way. I had to take a drink before I said this one. I've told this story to some people and they don't believe me, but I swear on my life it's 100% true. He actually got 30 minutes instruction on building ripcords. Now, ripcords are a vinyl covered wire rod that slips through a container through a special leg loop, and of course it has a red handle, which is just a piece of red plastic PVC like tube, and then there's a loop that goes through that plastic red PVC tube and it's clamped. So it's a plastic coated wire rod, and when you pull that, there's a spring. Your pilot chute springs out and that catches there and that pulls your main chute out. Well, you would think something like that would be simple to make, and it really is, but he got a half an hour instruction, and I kid you not, I know this for a fact, because the factory isn't that big. And it took 2 days for someone, not like a supervisor on the floor, to realize this, but actually someone that worked not too far from him was like, man, you ain't doing that right. So he made nearly 1,000 ripcords that potentially had a high risk of you pull the red plastic tube, which is what the ripcord is. Okay, you actually grab it there, you feel it. You can usually see it unless you're really fat like me. Of course, I wasn't fat back then. You yank it, and your pilot, which is spring-loaded, it's just a gigantic spring, comes out and opens up your main parachute. So you could have pulled the handle and the cord would have been left in there holding your entire container flap rig open, not letting your pilot shoot out. So you can imagine, the cartoons that actually pull the ripcord and the parachute went open. Well, he basically built 1,000 like that, nearly 1,000. I can't remember how many it was. Before it was discovered that he made them wrong in the clamping of the rod. He put it in backwards and then didn't clamp it right, so you could have pulled it. And this isn't stuff that's like a safety hazard. It means if it ain't working, you're not gonna get hurt. You're not gonna get injured. You're not gonna get seriously hurt. You are going to die. And I swear to God, all of this is true. You can't make this shit up. Oh, excuse me. It 100% true on my life. I thought you would find that interesting that this company that I work for gave me like a half an hour instruction on, I spot it by eye. They're triangular pieces and they're trapezoidal pieces, as I recall. And I was just kind of spotting them by eye. And, the specifications, the variance, since I'm spotting it by eye, is pretty drab. But I did exactly as I was told, and I was made sure I was very careful. Oh my God. Do you believe something like that's the case? Isn't that amazing? A company that makes stuff that if it does not work right, you are going to die. And like a half an hour instruction for new employees, and a guy makes nearly 1,000 ripcords. And your entire life depends on that ripcord, and he made nearly 1,000 of them wrong. I thought you would love that story. I love sharing that story because the best stories aren't false ones, they're actually true ones. And that one should frighten the piss out of you. Just remember, never trust anybody. Even when it comes to making equipment that is designed to save your life. Thanks for watching. Bye.